Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Wednesday webinar. Today is Wednesday, April 18th, and we have an amazing...
Screen is not showing.
Is it not? Okay. Okay, we're going to start this over. Here we go. All right, let's try this again. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Wednesday webinar. Today is April 18th, 2018, and we have an amazing special guest for you today. My name's Crystal Krebs. I'm an Emerald Director. I'm pictured here with my husband, Jared. To first get started, I just want to go over some things to expect, 10 things to expect. There will be ups and downs. It's a roller coaster ride, but it's a fun one. Success or failure is up to you. It's all about you. What you do, what you put into it, and the success is that much sweeter. The goal is for you to become independent. Number 4, plan, do, review, and adjust. Number 5, it's gonna take time. 1 year to become competent. 3 years to create a significant part-time income, 5 years to become a significant earner, and 7 years to become world-class, and it's worth it. Number 6, it takes consistent work and hustle. Number 7, you're going to have to grow and get out of your comfort zone. Number 8, mental toughness is necessary. Number 9, the grass is not always greener in other companies. And number 10, this is a long-term game. USANA is a 25-year strong business with 2.5 billion paid out to its associates. And always remember, amateurs sell products, professionals sell the vision. All right, so today we have a very special guest, Gold Director Alexis Cervantes Koslovsky from Aurora, Illinois. She is actually been a college graduate, and right out of college, she never really had a business interview or job. She just became an entrepreneur, and she's been going ever since. So why don't we go ahead and bring Alexis on? If you want, you can go ahead and start your video.
Okay.
Here we go. Hey, Alexis.
Hello.
How are you?
I am doing good.
Thank you so much. First off, I really want to say thank you so much for taking time on your Wednesday to share your story, share your life with us. We're excited to hear about it.
No problem. No problem. Where did you say you were right now? You're in Texas or Mexico? Or
I'm in Texas. Right now I'm in San Antonio, and Jared and his parents are currently in Mexico. His mom is just finished. His parents actually were in Sanofi for the past couple weeks, and so she's continuing to do lateral therapy, which is just she just finished her cancer treatments, and so she's being proactive and getting some good stuff down there. So.
Very cool. I am super looking forward to making it to Santa Viva at some point in my life. I have not been there yet, but I was just gonna say I need to get either someplace where you guys are, because in Aurora, Illinois, it is like super gross and drab and dreary and like 30 degrees and rainy. It's horrible.
Oh. Well, come on down. Come visit us.
I do need to. So you asked me to share my my USANA story with you guys, and I'm really excited to share it. I think that, like a lot of us, my story is kind of two-part. I really started health first and then learned how to do the business just kind of, like you said, ups and downs, and it's about consistency and all of that. So I love those tips that you just gave. I will also warn you guys right now that I am mama of two fur babies. I have two Rottweilers, and I gave them, like, I filled their Kong before this started with some with some treats. So that was either a really good idea or a really bad idea, because it's either going to keep them busy right now, or one of them is going to finish and then haunt the other one to steal it until it's done. So I apologize if my house erupts in dog barking.
That's all good.
So are we good? I feel like we're frozen right now.
Yeah, you're frozen a little bit. Oh, there you are. There we go.
Okay. So my story really starts all the way back in 2004. I was introduced to USANA really through my dad's cancer journey.
Wow.
So I hear that you guys are dealing with that as well. So much love and prayers and lots of love to you guys as family. But we didn't know anything about health, about, supplementation, about anything like that. My dad and I have always been like this, super close. I am the firstborn to a Latina family. And I'm the only girl. So I'm super close. I had like all the rules. My brothers get away with everything, all of the things that you can think of, but I was always really close to my dad, and he was always a hard worker. He worked, a ton of hours. He pulled overtime so that, I could do all the things that I wanted to do, and he could come home on payday with bags of gifts for my mom and I and all that good stuff. And so I have memories of being a little girl, and he would get up to go to work, and he would have to go and, be gone all day long. So at like 5 o'clock in the morning, when it was still dark outside, we lived by a park. So he'd be like, I would wake up just to hang out with him before he'd go to work,
Yeah.
And so he'd be like, yeah, if you can run across the street to the park, you can go. He's like, it's dark out, but I'll be right here. And I was like, okay. Cause I knew he'd be right there, So we did tons of stuff together, bike rides, and he taught me how to do things that like Marine dads teach their daughters, like how to do a proper, how to run with a proper form, and like how to do a proper frog stand and all this weird. So we just did everything together. So we've always been super close. And it was the summer of like my junior year, I think, going into college, that he just started to get really sick. And which was odd for him, because he just was never sick, like nothing ever fazed him. And it was started out like a cold, and then this cold developed into this horrible cough, and then it was more kind of like a flu or pneumonia, and doctors couldn't figure it out. And during that summer, we just kind of went through a lot of testing. At one point, it got to be so bad where he literally lost 45 pounds in about 50 days.
Wow.
So it was kind of like bad cold cough to like a really fast progression. And we didn't have any answers. And also, since he was a relatively healthy person and like old school Mexican man, he didn't go to the doctor. He didn't have any checkups to go back on. He didn't have any like blood work to look at and compare anything to. So the doctors were really starting from scratch. So we literally went through about 3 months of testing, and they tested for like whooping cough and AIDS and all of these weird things that, like, my dad's like, I don't have these things. Is whooping cough contagious? And the doctors are like, oh, it's highly contagious. And he's like, well, why are you wasting your time? My wife doesn't have it. My kids don't have it. Like, this is ridiculous. So it took several months of really just a lot of questions. And he ended up being diagnosed with stage 4 non-Hodgkin's lymphoma.
Wow.
And it was centered really in his liver. So it was just attacking his liver. When they finally kind of put 2 and 2 together, they were asking him, how much do you drink? How long have you drank? My dad's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I drink maybe when I watch a fight on TV, or I don't drink normally. They said his liver got down to functioning at about 20%. I think, if I remember correctly. So he just was like, he got to the point where he was like a bag of bones. If you like go like this and you can see all this stuff right here, like he had lost so much weight that was just how his neck looked, and his head looked out of proportion. He could barely make it up a flight of stairs. And at that time, I was a student at the U of I in Champaign. And so luckily he was diagnosed in October, and the doctor said, your cancer is so aggressive. If you see Thanksgiving, you probably will not see Christmas. So that was kind of like their advice to us, like take this time and enjoy it. And so I can literally remember where I was standing, at U of I when I got the phone call from my mom that said, this is what it is. Here's the plan. Here's what's going on. And so my dad had just had this spirit of, don't put a period where God's only placed a comma. I'm not going down without a fight. So he had two other boys. I was the oldest and I was off in college, and, we were very close, and he always knew, okay, she'll be okay and she'll remember me. But I had one brother who was in junior high at the time and one brother who was like 2.5, 3 years old. And he's like, this little one's not going to remember me. So I think like my baby brother, who's now about to graduate from high school, was a big reason for his fight. But it was during that journey that our family was introduced to USANA. And that was through some really great family friends. I don't know if any of you guys know Lloyd and Nikki Singer. But they're the ones they're like Ruby directors in our area. So yeah, they're the ones who introduced our family to USANA. And I can say now at this point, like, obviously I don't even look like a Koslovsky, right? Like, I don't even look like my last name, but I really don't look like Lloyd and Nikki Singer. Like, he's like super, super tall, like, I don't know, like 6'4" or 5, like huge white man, like loves to tan, like orange. And I call him Uncle Lloyd and Aunt Nikki because that's just how close our families have gotten at this point. So when my dad started to get really sick, he was coaching my brother's basketball team that was in junior high, and he was supposed to be coaching Lloyd's son as well. So Lloyd reached out and said, listen, partner, I don't know what's going on. I would love to help. Like, what are you experiencing? How can we help? And so really just from the love of their family, they introduced us to the company and the products. And they, like, every month my dad had USANA products in the mailbox, and they really just said, let's get you healthy first, and then we'll show you the business. So I can say that most of my junior year of college was spent down in Champaign, like Monday through Thursday, and then I'd drive home Friday morning, and then, be here Friday to Sunday to be with the family and my dad and stuff, and then drive back. It's amazing what a little pressure and a little stress does to you, because that is the year that I made the dean's list as well. Go figure.
Wow.
My dad was like, great. Little did I know I had to get cancer for you to pick up your grades. So USANA has just been a great tool for us health-wise as well. It was really through that time. Obviously, you guys know, I know this is a team training. So compliance-wise, it's not that I ever tell anyone that, USANA cured my dad. But for me, I was going to school for child psychology. My mom is a social worker, and she has this beautiful giving heart. And so I thought that I wanted to just follow in her footsteps. And I was going to work with kids and, some sort of that aspect. And that's what I studied. That's what I was doing. That's what I loved. I still love kids. I am still terrified of birthing them, so I haven't done that yet, but I can hang out with them and then give them back to their owners. So that's like kind of my direction of where I was going. But through this whole process is really where I started to understand, like, I was literally watching my dad's cells break down in his body and just kill off. And in the chemo and the stem cell transplant, those things are meant to break down all of the bad cells in your body, the cancer, but they break down the good ones at the same time. And so really just takes your immune system down to zero. So that's where I actually started to be interested in health and learn about your immune system and your body and how it works. And so it just kind of grew like a seed, little by little. And so when I graduated college, my dad bought me a business center for my college graduation, which was amazing and great. But I went to school for child psychology. And then I also studied like gender norm studies and cultural studies. And so I love people and kids and all of these things, but I had no idea how to run a business and be an entrepreneur. I kind of grew up in it a little bit. When I was 14, I told my dad, I think I want to get a job like at the mall or McDonald's or something like that. And he was like, why? So weirdos can hit on you and freak you out? Like, no way, I'm not letting you do that. So he said, let me show you how to run a business. And so we actually started a little like dad and daughter lawn care business. And so we would just do, ones in our neighborhood, older ladies were free, of course, and that kind of stuff, give back to the community. And so we did that, and it grew little by little as we were going along. And when I graduated, when I went off to college, he had somebody who went into the business with him, and so they kept it going. And when I was graduating college, his business partner was retiring and moving to Florida. So I came back into the business. So when I graduated, I came back and took over the lawn care again. And USANA was there just like little by little and, really more so like a hobby. So I have been in the business for a really long time. Embarrassingly, I really have only been working the business for like the last like 2.5, 3 years. But it really is just a testament to like, it's about you. It's about your time. It's about what you want to do with it. There's ups and downs, but I wrote down here, like your success and your failure is up to you. So when you're ready to take hold of it, it is there for you to do. So, during that time, I kind of I ran the lawn care business. I dabbled with USANA, and I also started teaching Zumba classes. And so when I started teaching Zumba classes is when I started to really connect with women and really reconnect with health. And, I had people asking me, what should I do for this? What should I do for that? What kind of food should I be eating? All that kind of stuff. And I think I taught Zumba classes for at least 2 years before a light bulb went on. And I was like, why am I not putting these two things together? What is wrong with me? I'm wasting so much time. Mm-hmm. So, I started to do that, and I started to run reset groups and, weight loss programs and that kind of stuff, even, before we had a 28-day program to do. So I started to do that, and it started to grow little by little, but it was still a hobby. I didn't really make it a priority to work the business until probably sometimes toward the end of me planning my wedding, because Lord knows if anyone has planned a wedding, those suckers are expensive. Goodness gracious.
Oh yeah.
My parents are like, we're so glad we only had one girl. We can't afford another one. So it was really through that time we really didn't want to have, a lot of debt from getting married or, having this big celebration day. So we worked really hard to save money and get everything paid off. And in that process, my husband he works at a high school as well. He's a driver's ed teacher. I don't know how he does it. He either comes home with really funny stories or really scary stories. But he was working, you're 8 to 3-ish. And then I would go between the lawn care and through teaching classes and that kind of stuff. But then for extra money, we both worked an after school program at his high school. So I would meet him over there, and we'd work that from 3 to 6. And then 4 days out of the week, I would leave there at 6 o'clock and either go teach a Zumba class or a boot camp class. So as we're planning our wedding or just being newlyweds, we were opposite directions all day long. And we would come together to eat dinner at 8:30, 9 o'clock at night and be like, how was your day? Oh, it was great. Okay, fall asleep on the couch. And I was like, this is not right. This is not what I want to do. This is not how I want to spend our time together before we have kids and life gets really crazy. So I really just thought to myself, shame on you. You have a really good opportunity here and you're just sitting on it. So it was, I can't remember the year. I don't do math. That's what I use calculators for. But a couple of years ago, whenever that was, it was October. And I was like, you know what? I am going to dedicate some time to work this business. And so in October, I just started having events. I pulled out the calendar, and like you said, consistency is key. So I think I scheduled an event every other week. And I just had that rolling, and I kept it moving, and just it was before social selling blew up really big. So it was still the in-home events, that sort of thing. doing like Taste of USANA and that kind of stuff. But it started to grow and grow. And then I think I was on the hub one day and I was like, ooh, what's this? And it was the Future Leaders tab. And so I kind of read the requirements for that. And I was like, I think I'm going to go for this. I think I'm going to see if I can do it. So I ended up being a future leader. And that was right before they started to tour. So I went to the one that was out in Vegas, which was really fun and awesome. Oh. And I ended up meeting Lori Truman down there. And I said, look, I need to grow. Like, what do I do? And she said, let's talk after this. I'm going to hook you up. I'm going to give Brian Armstrong your phone number. He's our numbers guy. He'll get you hooked up. So I ended up talking to Brian and he was like, hey, so how long have you been a silver director? And I was like, oh, geez, I don't know. You know, I didn't keep track of it. I just kind of dabbled. He was like, oh, let's look it up. And I was like, you can look that up. You can see that. Like, I don't want to know. He was like, I think you've been a silver director for about 9 years. It's time to move. And I was like, ah! So it was like a phone call that he was like, you need to do a gold run. And I was like, I can't do a gold run. I'm not ready for that. My volume is not ready for that. You are insane. And he was like, you're ready. You can do it. Call me back when you're ready. So I think I freaked out for like 2 weeks, like just like hummed it like in my head. And I talked to, my parents and I talked to Lloyd and Nikki and I was like, can I do this? Can I not do this? And then, there was a call, USANA call one day, and somebody was featured that had just finished a gold run. And somebody asked at the end of the call, what was your, what was your check at, when you started, what do I need to be at? And she was like, 1 week was maybe at $200, 1 week was at $30, 1 week. And I was like, oh my gosh, if people are starting from $30, like I have no excuse. Like I just have to get my butt going and I have to do it. So I called up Brian and I was like, all right, I'm ready. I think I can do this. Let's go. And so we really did. I'm a planner for something like that. So I pulled out the calendar and I planned 1 to 2 events each week that were like presentation style. And then on my weaker cycles, I planned bigger events. So since I teach Zumba, I ran a Zumbathon and the entry for people coming was the $15 to go towards the donation of a Use Animals bottle.
Oh, cool.
So that was really fun to be able to do that and then just incorporate a bunch of people and get people excited about giving back, which I love to do anyways. And then my other really weak cycle, we ended up organizing a bulk rev order. So everyone on our team just kind of ordered their own and the stuff that they were going to sell to people. And it ended up being, you have to commit yourself to the process and doing it, knowing that there's going to be ups and downs. There was, a couple weeks where I'm like, I don't know where this volume is going to come from. Was I crazy to start this? Like, am I insane? And it just is, once you start going and you get going, the week that I was the most concerned about, it was like, people were falling from the sky like, oh, hey, I used to order USANA just from USANA.com years ago, but I'd like to get back into it. Can I order from you? And I'm like, yes, you can order from me. So, stuff like that. And people just realizing, when you are putting it out there and people start to associate you with what you're doing, it really paid off and it all came together and it was so much fun. And it was amazing. It was a lot of work. But here's the thing. Here's what I will tell any of you. I don't know where any of your rankings are for your people that are on this team, but I went on this gold run, right? And I went gold in June, which is also like a super busy time for a lawn care business in the Midwest. So I was like literally losing my mind. But right after that, I like finished the year off on like a super high. So right after that, I went on our family vacation up to Michigan for a week on the dunes. And then after that, I was home for a couple of days and I went with my husband and our best friends to Aruba for 2 weeks. And then I came back and I went with my dad to Texas for a few days to get an associate started that we had down there. And then I came back and in all of this work that I did, which I wasn't even keeping track of, but I qualified for Success on the Beach. So then I came back and we went to Costa Rica and then I came back and then I went to Future Leaders Summit. So like, I was like having the time of my life. But guess what happened? Because I wasn't here and I wasn't working and I wasn't developing the people that I brought on. I like went gold and then my paycheck went like, wee.
Mhm.
So I know that I'm sure that you guys have heard, or everyone has told you, like, don't go gold and then just disappear, because that does not work. So I have really had a lot of fun. I would say once I got, I don't know, really, I think it picked up maybe like towards this last fall again, just getting re-energized and refocused and ready to work the business. I've had a lot of fun working with a crossline group that I've been a part of with Felicia and Stephanie and a bunch of other women. So that really kind of like got me excited again, and Tel Aviv got me excited again, and I've had so much fun working with that. So right now, currently, I am on the road to just really build up my 4-week cycle so that I can take that leap. I know I told you I'm like half terrified of taking the leap to go executive. I'm like, man, 4 weeks was a lot of work. I don't know how anyone can do 13 weeks in a row. So just really getting myself set up so that I can do 13 weeks in a row and not kill myself, but like just work myself into the ground. So I'm really excited about it. I think it's just really fun to see like what you can do when you put your mind to it. I always had a struggle a little bit, kind of like as I was starting to work the business, like, you get that, like, should I talk to them? Like, do they think that I just want their money? Is it just about me, making money? And one of the things that I learned, which I think I just need to like write down and read to myself every day, is that when I was focused and when I was, doing my gold run, and when I am really like working on doing that, I don't, I'm focused on like, go. I know that's another reason why I do want to go. For all
The perks are.
I need to.
They're wonderful.
But one of the things that I learned is I was always like, shoot, like, I don't want people to feel like I'm just trying to make money off of them, or, it's just about the business. But when I was focused on working my business like a business, the amount of people that I was able to help, like literally, like with my heart, help people in their health or issues or weight or whatever it is, that just like grew exponentially. So it's just like, we put these kind of like thoughts in our head that, people are going to, think about me this way or that way, or they're gonna be like, oh, the Usana lady or whatever. And it's just not true. You work your business like a business, and you do it with, the right intention and the right heart, and to truly help people, because we've seen it. I saw it, with my dad and so many people that I've helped along the way. So it really just is a lot of fun when you get to see how many people you can reach. And putting it together with Zumba, I really have just fallen in love with working with women and encouraging them to support each other and empower each other, and really just love yourself no matter what you look like or where your health journey is or where you're at in life. Has just really been a passion for me. And so that's what I have been rolling with. I'm going to click on these chats so I can see them.
Yeah, go for it. Well, wow. That's been such a crazy, like, long journey, but like now that you're really focused, like it's but we need to go through that too. Sometimes you're like not quite ready, but then like now it's like, here it is, like we're doing it.
Yes.
I love that that you like planned everything, your events, like, very strategic with the intention of your gold run. You can totally do executive. Like, you can do it. If you did gold, like, come on. And then that's that many more people that you get to help. How about that? Think of it that way. Don't necessarily be scared about it. But we have maybe time for like one question. I know it's like time flies when you're.
It really does. I was like, shoot, I'm supposed to talk for like 1 minute.
I know, right? And then it's like the time goes by. Let's see. Did anybody have a question? Let me see. Well, I want to just ask, what was the biggest challenge? Was there a challenge that you ever like came up with that you, like, what did you do to get over that, and how did you overcome it?
You know what? I think our biggest challenge is just ourselves. Like we let life get in the way. Like, I don't know how like moms do this and do other things and like make this a full business. Like, we just have so many things that we allow to get in our way, and we don't make this a priority. So, I think my biggest challenge is just the times that I allow myself to not be focused. And, I'm a helper. So I'm like, oh yeah, I'll help you do this or I'll help you do that, or sure, I'll go over. And, and so I get away from the things that I need to be doing for myself. So, my dad is doing great now. His cancer came back so he did like 6 months of chemotherapy, and then he took a couple months off. They were able to get the cancer low enough in his body that he was his own donor for a stem cell transplant. So here's where a little bit of like USANA magic happens, because he says that they had to, in order to harvest his stem cells, he went up to Northwestern and he was supposed to be there for a week straight, like 8 hours a day, a week straight. They take blood out of his port and they kind of like cherry pick, like, here's your magnesium, your zinc, your this, your whole immune system. And so they needed 5 million stem cells. And they said it usually takes 4 to 5 days to get that many stem cells. So he went up, did it for the first day, came back home, and they called him that night and they're like, you ready to come back tomorrow? My dad was like, heck no, man, it's so boring in there. I don't want to go hang out with you guys anymore. They were like, I don't know how you did it, but you gave us 6 million stem cells in one day. So you don't have to do that tomorrow. He says he's got $1 million in the bank if he ever needs them again.
That's awesome.
But he did really well with his stem cell transplant. He also likes to brag that he has the shortest stay on the stem cell transplant for. He made it out in 17 days. So that was really amazing. And he did really well. It came back as stage 1 in 2009. And he was like, stage 1, I could do that standing on my head now. So they did chemo, like a low grade chemo treatment, whatever low grade, right, is, right? But a low grade chemo treatment for 2 years. So officially since 2011, he's been cancer free again.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
Well, wow. What a crazy, awesome story. And it's still kind of just the beginning in a way. Like,
yeah, it really is, because I just decided to get my butt moving again.
Well, I really want to thank you so much for taking the time again and sharing your story. I know this was on Facebook Live. I don't know if we had any questions over there. I wasn't able to check, but we can, if we had any, I'll send them over to you and get them answered. But yeah, that was awesome. I really appreciate it. And everybody.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. All right. So let's see. I'm going to get back over here to this.
Next time I'm just gonna go hang out with you, so that I'll be in warmer weather, and I got
yes,
that jazz sound.
Please do. All right, so let me get this over here. Back to this. And all right, everyone, thank you guys for attending. Have a wonderful rest of your week.
Bye.
Thank you, Alexis.
Yes, no problem. I hope that was helpful. I hope that's what you were looking for.
Yes.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Amazing story. We loved it.
Great.
Thank you.
You're welcome.